Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Lost Coast Podcast. Today, we have ourselves Dunbar Andrews with Alaska Growth Capital. And he's going to give us some information and some financial aspects that even I don't do myself. So, this is a great time for me to be on here with you, Dunbar, and welcome to the show.
Well, thanks so much, Cory. It's nice to be with you today.
That's great. So, tell us, Dunbar, give us an example of why you love this business so much and what's driven you to be here today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, banking can sound sort of boring and stuffy to some people, but growing up, I grew up in the agricultural community. My parents were farmers and ranchers, and every year, you as a farmer and rancher, you go into your local bank for an operating note, and just seeing the folks kind of behind the counter there, and talking about loan to value and collateral and cash flow. It sparked that idea from me, from a young age to, hey, you know what? This might be something cool. This might be something interesting. I think I think I'm gonna keep this in my mind as something to do. So that's basically where the idea came from.
Nice. So, kind of curious. So they're in the ranching industry. Where was that ranch at? Where were you guys located? In Alaska?
Yes. So originally from South Dakota, and so where there's more cows than people. There's 4.5 cows to every one person, and so now I'm in a place where there's several millions of fish more than people. So I guess I've always been interested, or like the commodities sort of aspect to where I live. So yeah, that's where I grew up. So
Okay. So you've seen kind of what your family went through going to the bank and those kind of scenarios with the money and everything. So then you kind of was learning on got interested. So now you kind of stepped in the role of maybe trying to help farmers in a different direction, is what I'm hearing.
exactly. And so living in Alaska, where I live now, there are some farms and ranching, but when you talk commodities in Alaska, you're talking about the fishing industry. So a lot of folks, I'm sure, have seen the show at some point or another, Deadliest Catch on Discovery, I recall, and all the sort of reality TV shows. It's really helping people in those industries is really something that brings me a lot of joy. And Alaska is just full of adventure, and it's the tourism industry is really growing. That's really a sector that I kind of try to focus on as well. So
Yeah. So yeah, the Deadliest Catch show. My brother was actually an editor for that show. It's kind of funny.
no way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And our family grew up on a dairy. We've got a lot of
Oh,
similarities going on here. Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah,
absolutely. It's yeah, it's a wonderful lifestyle. And it's something that I am definitely passionate about. So
well, great. So you're up in Alaska and you're helping business owners and everybody get some funding, find a ways to get some money to help grow their business. So tell us a little bit about that and how it works.
yeah, absolutely. So basically what we do, we're able to help entrepreneurs, startups, do business acquisitions, generational ownership changes. So basically, with SBA lending, we can go out, for example, with real estate, we can go out 25 years. Your average, ordinary, conventional commercial bank can only goes out 20 years. So we can do extended terms. We can do, our down payments are minimal. We require a 10% equity injection. Conventional commercial bank is going to need 25% down. And that really limits a lot of folks in terms of getting them into an asset, getting them into a business. And so we're really there in order to make sure folks have proper working capital and are able to, make their rent and able to hire new employees. Like I say, startup businesses, we love doing startup businesses. We can do projection-based deals. I previously worked at commercial banks, and you say, hey, walk in, hey, I got a great idea, got some really good projections here, and they'll point you to the nearest exit. Sorry, you don't have enough history here. We can't make it work for you. But here at Alaska Growth, we're able to get more people in and make dreams come true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. So how do the clients reach out to you? I mean, you don't just work in Alaska, do you? You work across the states, I'm sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we work across Pacific Northwest, really, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and other states across the lower 48. And Hawaii as well. Can't forget about Hawaii. And so we are able to help out folks, wherever they are. And at minimum, we can have a conversation with you all and talk to folks and say, hey, this is a really great business idea. You should you need to do a little bit of that or a little bit of this. And at minimum, we can start to point folks in the right direction and say, hey, maybe not now, but a few months from now when you get this adjusted or make this adjustment, and then maybe we can make the deal go.
Well, perfect. So you're not just getting them the loan or getting them money. You're actually working with them, making a full plan so they can actually develop the business and get it where it needs to be to keep promoting the money coming in, basically. And you're there to help them all the way through.
Exactly, precisely. And it's so important to, develop that business plan, get some good assumptions in order, and get some good projections going. Why? Because it's so important. It's not just hitting financial goals. It's really important to know where you're driving. Where do you want to be at the end of the day? And you can look back in 3 years or whatever. Wow, not only met those goals, but I exceeded them. Or, oh, you know what? I think I need to make certain adjustments to really get to that place where I'd like to be. So, and a great resource for some of those, helping develop some of those, like I say, business plan assumptions, projection, is your local small business development center. They can help you with those as well. And get those fundamental pieces to your project together.
Okay. What are some of the biggest mistakes when somebody's trying to start and build a business that you see them make and that you're trying to help them correct most of the time?
I would say that's sort of twofold. I would say, number one, it's just so important to get going and take some sort of action. And then number two, also, don't put the cart before the horse. It's so important to, especially when there's money involved, right? It's so important to have that good plan together, good partners there, good contingency planning. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of elements. So it's not there's a fine line of, okay, yes, I'm jumping into the pool or I'm jumping into the water, but hey, let's make sure we have a life vest on as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So we talked about some of the mistakes, helping them conquer that. Now, what's the best way then for our listeners here to basically get a hold of you? If they're looking at starting a business or in a business, because you're going to help them all. What's the best way they can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So you can go to our website at McKinley Alaska Growth Capital.com, and you can submit an application. You can email me directly from there, and you can call our office here, and either myself or one of our teammates would love to speak with you. We can talk about your plans, your idea, and ultimately kind of get a pre-flight get together going. Okay, we have all your information. This is what happens in a pre-flight in the banking industry, we call it. We get all your information gathered. Then we discuss it kind of as a team and with management and say, hey, we like this idea. We like where your thoughts are. We like where the business is located. The projections look good. Okay, let's write everything up and do it and send it up for approval. So a pre-flight is kind of a version of making sure or having a pretty good idea whether or not the deal will go. And we're happy to discuss any sort of elements of business plan projections, assumption, and say, hey, maybe if we made this adjustment or made that adjustment, we could move forward. And so, like I say, it's all about a conversation for us, and we're happy to have one with anyone listening. So.
Okay. So I suppose they're going to reach out to you now. I mean, you're going to offer them and let them have a free consultation, free, assessment of what they're doing with them, right? So there's no harm, no foul to reach out to you. All it is a little bit of help, a little bit of assistance.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. When we have a consultation and we're able to say, like, it's just a conversation, and it's not uncommon for that to happen. Like, hey, we have a conversation, go see Small Business Development Center. You really got something here. This is a good idea. Or you're working at some place and you hear your boss saying, gosh, man, I'd like to retire, but I just don't know if it's kind of a specialty business or whatever. We love to do business acquisition, and so often we'll have someone reach out, and then 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year sometimes goes by, and they circle back around and say, hey, we got everything in order now. We got a purchase and sales agreement. We're ready to roll. Let's make this happen.
Nice. So you're even helping them, not just a new business, you're helping them acquire somebody else's business that's trying to get out. They're going to get in. So now they're in. So now they're going to need some more capital, and you can help them get capital again to keep growing that business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We love business acquisition, and helping people get into existing businesses is something very, very important. And it's becoming more and more important all the time as more and more baby boomers are retiring and wanting to, have a slower pace of life and what have you, getting out of these assets, getting out of these businesses. And so that's someplace we can really step in and, kind of deliver and see those businesses get on and into new hands.
Yeah. Keep it going, because I see so often, even in the little town I live in, when sometimes people leave their business, they just shut the doors, and there's that piece is no longer in the community anymore. When everybody loved going there or whatever it may be, its doors are closed. What are you going to do now?
Absolutely. And you saw that during COVID, really. You saw, restaurants shut down and whatever. It's the same kind of when people retire. It's like, oh man, so many memories at this cafe or whatever. Well, that can really continue, and you can pass it on to the next generation through someone like us, Alaska Growth Capital. So
yeah, awesome. Well, Dunbar, I want to thank you for being here on the show today, but I would like to see, give us an example. I'm sure listeners would like to see it too, or hear, however they're viewing us today, of a current client or past client that you've made a
Sure.
big difference in their business in the situation.
Sure. As you can imagine, we say in Anchorage, anywhere outside of Anchorage is really where Alaska begins. And not too far outside of Anchorage here, I was able to help a small sportsman's fishing company. Been in operation a long time. His son was wanting to take over the company, didn't quite have a large enough down payment for a conventional bank. he gives us a call and says, hey, this is, business has been around for a long time. I'd love to keep it going, but I just don't quite have the down payment to make it work at a bank. And so that's really where we can step in and really shine, like, okay, hey, yeah, we can do it with 10% equity injection. We'll make this happen for you. And we were able ultimately to do the loan. And, a few weeks ago, I was out actually fishing with this fella. And it's really cool to see, like, the old photos on the wall of him and his dad, taking people out fishing and whatnot. And, that place would have shut down had we not been able to step in and say, hey, you know what, we have broader parameters here. We can make this lending parameters. We can make this happen for you. So
Yeah, that's great. That's great. You help them keep the business going. Dad's happy, kids happy, and maybe the next generation can step into it again, and you can help them acquire it and just keep rolling the
absolutely,
tide.
absolutely. Yeah, very good.
Yes. So Dunbar, I want to thank you for being on the show today. I'm sure our listeners got something out of it. And remember, everybody, if you're looking to start a business or looking at buying a business, give Dunbar a call, because he has the availability to make some things happen for you. So
Hey, I'd love to have I'd love to start a conversation with anyone. Please feel free to look us up online, McKinley, Alaska, growthcapital.com, and we'd love to have start a conversation with you. So
there you have it.
thanks so much, Cory.
Thank you, Dunbar. With
All right,
that being
take care.
said, this is the Lost Coast Podcast, and we'll be signing off, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.